Okay, so you got a new HyBike. We're going to go over how to assemble your HyBike. Once you open the box, you got all the materials here. Sorry for the glare on the sunlight. You got your basket, your lid and basket, battery pack, box that has your charger, pedals, and other things in it. We'll open that in a second. Your headset, rear view mirrors, seat. You got your front tire with the fender on it, and the actual bike here. The handlebars are already on there. We'll show you how to put them in. The fork, computer, motor, electronics, all the wiring is done for you already. You don't need to touch any of the stuff for the motor. It's already installed. All you're going to do is slip all this on. You'll see through the video it should take maybe 45 minutes or an hour for somebody who's never done it before. Follow the detailed written instructions. Watch the video in full and read the directions in full. If you have any questions, call the number. Even if you have questions while you're doing it, just give us a call. We can help you walk through it. Okay, first step after you get everything out of the box is you're going to need to get your bike to stand up. Okay, it's going to stand on its own like this, as long as it's got some level, hard surface to sit on. The handlebars are out of the bike. You're going to want to turn the fork so it's straight on. So if you're standing behind the bike, you'll see both arms on both sides of the frame. It's going to give you a nice stable base. And the kickstand might be up or down depending on how the bike was shipped, but let's get this focused here. Kickstand has an arm on it to lock it. The directions are going to have a little detail on this, but it might be hard to understand if you've never seen this kind of kickstand before. This kickstand right here, it's on the left side of the bike in reference to when you're sitting on the bike. It's the left side. This is your lock, okay? When this is in the forward position that's in right now, the bike, as you shake it around, isn't going to come off. If you kick that in the rearward position, the kickstand just flips right up. It's real easy. You can put some pressure on the kickstand with your foot, lift up and back with the bike. Make sure this goes in the forward position and it's locked. It's that simple. Okay, you've got your battery pack. The top of your pack and the bottom of your pack. At the top end, there's a handle that folds out. You can use that to pull the battery up. You can see your ignition on one side. That's where your key goes in to turn the bike on. On the other side, you've got a 3-prong plug and then a circle plug. Okay? You can go ahead and slip your keys into your ignition. What we're going to do is we're going to lay the battery back on the ground so it doesn't fall over. And we're going to bring out your charger. Your charger is super simple. Okay? It's a little black box. It's got 2 ends on it. One is a 3-prong plug. That goes into the 3-prong plug on your battery pack. The other end, you guessed it, goes right in the wall. Turn that on. You can hear the fan turn on your charger. It's got 2 red lights. One will turn green when it's fully charged. And a note here, you never want to leave your battery plugged in for more than 10 or 12 hours at a time. And just let that charge while we build your bike. Okay, next step is to get your handlebars installed into the bike. You've got your handlebars, they're all wrapped in plastic here. If you look at the bottom end, there's this piece here. This is the neck of your handlebars. There's a plastic sheath here that protects all your cables that go down into the frame. They run up into the headset. The neck needs to go through this sheath as it is. If it's not already in there, it's just you flex it on. This is your serrated piece. It does need to be loose like that in order to slide in. This is just like a regular bicycle. You're going to slide it into the headset, as so, and let it drop down. Now when it's dropped in, you can align your sheath a little bit and put your handlebars straight. They are adjustable up and down, however you like. Okay, next step, you're going to crack into the box. This box is going to hold all the little pieces that you see missing from what you might expect to come with the bike, including a toolkit. Okay, let's open the box. Now be aware when you're cutting the box open or removing the bubble wrap, whether it's from your actual bike, which has already been removed before this video, or it's maybe the bubble wrapped headset. When you're using a knife or scissors, be aware there's plastic under there, there's paint under here, there's cords in your charger you can cut. Just be careful with that. Inside this box, you've got the support for your basket. We'll put that over there. You got your charger. This is what's going to charge your battery pack. You've got your pedals, your front axle complete with hardware. You've got your toolkit. We'll go through that in a second here. And you got your license plate, a little advertising for your bike, let people know where to call to get one. That's going to help you with the referral program. And we've got your seat post. That's just going to go here with the seat. Okay, let's go through the toolkit. It came out of your little box. It's going to have the pieces you need to actually put your bike together. Pour it all out here. It's got a couple tools, a few wrenches, a reversible screwdrivers, got a Phillips and a flathead, and a little handle. Some pieces that you'll need. We'll organize this out and go over what each piece is for. These body panel screws here, they're short course, almost like a machine screw. Phillips head. Let me get this focus for you. This is going to be used for your headset. You'll see this in the steps below too. You're going to use 4 of those. You got some pieces for your license plate, and then you've got a few extra in case you lose them. Handlebar adjustment door, a little finishing touch for the body, and then you've got hardware for your basket. Okay, putting on your front wheel. Here is your axle. It's complete with hardware. It's got a nut on either end, a spacer. This is the clip as referred to in the directions, and this is your other nut. It's non-threaded. It's actually just a spacer. There's 2 different sizes. You're going to see which size goes on here. You're going to take one end off and slide all the hardware out. You take your tire, separate the fender from it, and here's your tire. You've got one side has a big hole in it. The other side is shut. Okay, you're going to insert the hardware with the large washer or the large spacer here in the side that's solid. Okay, if it has trouble going in, you can lay it flat and put it in there. It doesn't matter. Now you're going to have this sticking out the other side. This is the side of the tire that's got the axle sticking out of it. This hole is going to receive the brake assembly here. Okay, you can see where the axle is going to go through the assembly, and the pads will fit into the drum. This is going to get you sealed drum brakes. A very powerful, very good feature. Easiest way to do this is to lift up the fork. Have a friend help you with the gear if you can't balance that. You're going to just let the tire sit loosey-goosey in here. And you're going to reach around, get your brake assembly, feed it onto the axle and into the wheel. And when you get your wheel lined up here, you're going to see on the brake assembly, there is this little U. There's a little horseshoe built in there. It's opposite of all the hardware. That little slot in the brake assembly is going to fit right with this welded piece of steel on here. This is absolutely vital, and it, excuse me, as laid out in the directions, it needs to be lined up with that slot there. Now, before you actually drop your fork onto the axle, you need to put in the small spacer. This is a small non-threaded spacer that's left over. You're going to feed this onto the axle that's exposed outside the brake assembly, and then you're going to line up, like we said, the horseshoe little drop-in for that bar that's welded onto the fork. You're going to line this, let me get this focused on here, it's going to line and drop in and onto both sides of the axle at the same time. And drop that in, the bike's going to balance. Okay, getting the fork onto that the first time can be frustrating, so just take your time, If you're not getting it right away, have your friend, hold the bike up and just take your time doing it. Now, once you get this on, make sure, double check that this is in the slot here and that the axle has actually gotten into the axle slot on the fork, not on either end, but in the slot here on both sides. All three of those need to be lined up. Now here is how the hardware gets lined up. You've got the spacer is already in here on the inside of the fork. That's true on both sides. The spacer's on the inside. Okay, if you have two different size spacers, the large one's going to be on here, the small one's going to be on the side with the brakes, side with the brake assembly. Next piece is the clip. It's going to slide on the outside. Got your spacer inside the fork, the clip goes on the outside of the fork. Top piece is made to go into the hole on the top. There's a little hole pre-drilled. Next piece is your threaded nut, righty-tighty onto the axle. You're not going to have very much exposed unless you were really good at this. You got to get the axle just lined up both ways. It free floats in, so you can just push it over. Spin the nut on, realign your clip, get the nut tight enough to get the clip on. Do the same thing in here. This clip will rotate around until the top is in the hole. And you just righty-tighty on this axle nut here. Okay, now that your front axle and front tire assembly are installed, you want to look up here. You can kind of see through to the frame and maybe this hole that's drilled in the cross section here. If your tire is off to one side, which some of them are, if it's just off to one side, just finagle it around while it's loose. This is your chance to line it up. You can have a friend hold the bike and get it just perfect. It's a little wobbly. This is just like a regular bicycle. The size here is 14. Each one of these wrenches has two sizes on it. I'm using the 14. And you can tighten down both sides of the axle firmly. You come over, get this side tightened down as well. After you get it tightened down, you want to lift up the front of the bike a little bit and actually spin the wheel. Make sure it spins freely. If this is not happening, you've got it too tight, or the brakes are too tight. And if this brake is too tight, as you can see in our other videos on how to adjust the brakes, there's a nut on the end of the cable. You just righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. If it's too tight, try loosening the brake. If it still doesn't spin freely, then your nuts are too tight. You can just back off on those. Okay, now that your front tire is tight and spinning freely, it's time to adjust the handlebars. You can adjust them up and down and side to side. You can see without the front tire moving, the handlebars will spin right now. Now, if you're from your position sitting on the bike, you have your dash with your power gauge and turn signal indicators, all that, and your controls for all your lights, and your brakes are all easy to reach. There is a small hole here which will allow you to reach in. You can see the nut in there. It's actually the top of the bolt, six-sided. It's a number 12 metric. You can reach in with a wrench and adjust it from here, or you can do a little easier from the front. Since the headlight's not on, you can reach in with a little more space and get that same nut. You're gonna get onto there and turn righty-tighty to tighten down the handlebars. This may, take a few spins. Once it gets snug, you will, go into your front wheel and align these so that they're straight. You can also, at this time, go up and down if you want to. I've already got that adjusted. But just make sure it's as straight as possible. This is easy to adjust, as you saw with the hole in the back of the dashboard. Later on, so it's not the end of the world if you get it a little misadjusted right now. Just righty-tighty. You want to snug this down very firmly. This is a very important step to be done firmly, because if it's not tight, just like on a regular bike, the handlebars will be able to spin and it could result in crash. Okay, for your headset, you take your headlight assembly. On the back end there is the plug. There's only one empty plug in all these wires. You line up this tab with the hole. Line it in, click it into place, that's good. Make sure there's not any overhanging wires or horns here. Line up your headset, starting at the top. It's easiest if you start on one end. So down here at the end, click that into place, go into the middle, make sure you've got the tabs underneath the back end. Click it in, go to the other end, there you go. Now it's holding itself on. You can get the 4 screws we set aside earlier. Underneath you can see there's 4 places for the screws. One here, and the same on the other side. You're going to line up the headset with one hand, making sure there's no cables or wires sticking out. You can line it up, you can kind of hear it clicking into place. You can put one screw in, take your screwdriver, righty-tighty, just screw it into place. Do not over tighten this. This headset is plastic and it will strip and crack if you over tighten it. And we're just going to get all 4 of these screws. Okay, next step is to put the pedals on. Each one of these pedals is threaded differently, just like on a regular bicycle. If you look at the end of the pedal, it's kind of hard to see on here, it's stamped, whether it's right or left. If you can only see one of them like this, that's great. You can note this one's on the right side of the bike. And this is the same as in all the other steps. It's as if you are sitting on the bicycle. You can go on the right hand side and you will use the pedal with the R that's stamped in it. Now on these pedals, just like on the other bolts in this assembly, you're going to want to use the Loctite. You've got a little thing in here that's enough to get the bike assembled. It comes with your bike, it's supplied. It's in this little tube here. You only need to do a drop each time you use it. You just break the end off. You're going to apply one drop, like that. And believe it or not, that is enough to get it on. Now, the threads on this, they're going to go righty-tighty on the right-hand side, and it'll be opposite on the other side. And so if it doesn't go in one way, and try it for a minute. If it doesn't work, spin it the other way. The left-hand side of the bike is the opposite of what you would think it would be. And just spin these on. We'll go to the next step. After you get these spun on here, go to your toolkit and we'll go find the number 15. Here's the 15. It's going to fit on here, and you want to cinch this down real tight. This is something that, just like the handlebars, when you get it on there, if it's loose, it could cause you to crash. Cinch that down, go to the other side. Cinch this side down, and there, you're good to go. Okay, next, we're going to put the seat onto the seat post. It's wrapped in that paper bag. It came out of a little box. This has 2 ends on it. One is big, one is small. The small end is going to go into the bike seat. Okay? This checkered piece, just pay attention to that. We'll look at that in the next step. This here on the side is usually a 13 millimeter. Sometimes it changes, but about 90% of the time it's a 13. You can find the wrench with the 13 on it, and just righty-tighty on both ends. If you turn once on one side, then try to do a turn on the other side. Keep it even, and the bike seat will be more centered on the bike. And you tighten this on, and then we'll go over to the bike. Now that you've got it tight and the seat can be supported from the post, you can flip it over, bring it to your bike, and just slide it right into where the seat post goes here. You get it to the height that you want the seat. This can be adjusted later once you ride your bike. And then there's a bolt pre-installed. You just tighten this up until it's snug for the seat to stay at that height. You stand over the bike. Just tighten up this bolt now that we've got it adjusted straight to be, you want this to be as tight as it can be without overdoing it. It's possible to break the bolt, but you want it tight enough to where it's going to support your weight when you're on the seat. Okay, now that your seat post has been tightened, you can come up and adjust the angle and the forward and back position of your seat with these bolts here. Just loosen these up, and you'll be able to adjust the angle of your seat, and if you need to, you can adjust the forward and back position. It's in a good position right now. You want to bring it at an angle that looks like it's going to be comfortable with, and then just tighten these up on both ends. You'll be able to feel when these are tight because you won't be able to move the seat anymore. Okay, now we've got, we're going to put the front basket on. You've got your support right here. This comes in the box with the charger and all that. You take these bolts out of these supports that are welded into the fork. And then this, you'll say, oh, well, this doesn't really fit. Just take it, bend it out a little bit. You'll bend it until it fits. It's pretty close. It's just about right there. You can take one bolt, feed it through, thread it into the support. You'll take this basket out here, kind of force it over and thread it in again. Okie dokie, we've got your hardware for the basket we've laid out here on the floor. This is the only tricky piece really. It's got a bend in it and it's pre-threaded to accept these bolts. Get a good shot of that. The bend comes like this and you're going to thread the bolts in from behind. You're going to do that with both bolts, and when they're as far as they go, what you've got is this kind of a shape. And this, when you set your basket on the bike, when the basket goes on the bike, it's got two tabs hanging. That's the back. It's going to go towards the bike. This piece here that has this dent in it, this lines up with the support bar for the basket. That holds the basket in place. So you can almost just set the basket right on top of it. And you're going to try to get this lined up, you know, with the tire as close as possible. And then we're going to put in the washers. And the nuts that you use the Loctite on, the same Loctite that we use to put the pedals on. You're going to already have put a drop inside of the nut so that you can get this to stay on appropriately. Okay, so after you get the nuts threaded on here, you just want to do those finger tight so you can still move the basket around. You've got this flat piece here. This is going to go right inside the basket. This is basically just a really big washer. You take the other two bolts that you have, the same as before. You slide through the hole. What I'm mounting this to is the bracket that's welded to the fork. So we're going to put the bolts through the big holes, reach around from the back. This is where it's tricky. It's a tight spot. You get the nut on there, thread that on, enough for it to hold, and then we'll get the other nut on the other side. And then when you tighten these, you can use your screwdriver and generally an 8mm. You'll tighten the bottom ones first in the bottom of the basket, and then come up here. You can adjust the height. I like my basket as low as it'll go, and you can adjust these. Okay, now you got your basket mounted on there real good. You take your lid, these two pieces that we lined up to the back that hang down are what holds your lid on. So it's kind of finagle it in there. It might take you a couple tries to get it on straight. If you put these in the wrong squares, then your lid will just be too far one way or the other, but this is good and centered. Then you can just kind of take this, just push in and bend it so the lid can't fall off or swing around too much. I'm pushing this towards the front. And then the lid opens and shuts like a basket. Okay, so we're going to open up our rear view mirrors. They're in the little white cardboard box. There's 2 of them in here, so be wary of that. They are glass, so they'll break. These are directional. It's pretty obvious to see. On the bike, you want it to face out, not in. So this is for this side, and this one is for this side. Now, sometimes when you go to mount your mirror, this is the mounting hole. Not this one here, but over to the inside. Sometimes, as with this bike, you've got the little piece of plastic. It's a little dome piece of plastic. It's like what come on plastic models. It just didn't get punched out at the factory. So just take a screwdriver, line it up as middle as you can get, and just knock it out. You can just kind of force your screwdriver through it. It's pretty thin plastic. It's just there to as a guide. Then the hole's ready for your mirror to go in. Okay, so the mirrors, getting them in here. There's one nut that's on the mirror already. Just unthread that all the way off. Take the last set of nuts that's in your hardware pack. It's got the little serrated pieces on it. Thread that not the way you would usually put it on, but upside down, so that it faces down towards the bottom. Gonna thread that up. So you thread that up to the top, line the mirror up with the hole, set it in. You're gonna take the nut that came on the mirror, and from underneath, you'll see where it pokes out here. You're just gonna thread that onto the mirror. Just until it's snug. Okay? Do the same thing on the other side. And then we'll tighten down. Once you get the mirror mounted in there, you want to take a 10mm wrench. You'll see that top nut that you put on upside down is now right side up. Just hold the mirror at the angle you think you want it and righty-tighty. Next, you want to take your license plate hardware. It's the only bolt that has a big enough head to not fall through your license plate. You take this, put one on either side. You're going to put them in the holes right here underneath your tail light, and follow it up with the nuts on either end. I'm going to do that on both sides. Just get it finger tight, and then you can adjust it side to side, get it aligned where it's where it looks best from behind. And then you just tighten them up with a screwdriver and a wrench.